This is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Now today I've got something interesting to show you. You Mars geeks and freaks are going to like this one. And I'm calling this a Martian Harbour or Alien Harbour or something like that. I'm not really sure what to call it. But that would describe what we're going to be looking at here. And I'll get straight into this one. This is a place called Melas Chasma. And this is the actual official name of this image. Diverse deposits in Melas Chasma, and it is very diverse, right? You've got some weird stuff in here. And if you look at this on Google Mars, it's this large area here. You can just type it in the search box, Melas Chasma, and it'll just come up, but there's nothing really here. And the nearest sort of feature or description is here. And it doesn't really tell you much. It just says a deep, elongated, steep-sided depression. Now, when you look at the overall topography of this area, this looks like it would have been a part of an ocean or at least a lake or something large like that. Because you have high walls either side and it's a deep depression that goes on and on and on for about 500 or 600 miles, okay? It's really, really big. And there's not many actual satellite close-up images of this area. There's one here, which is pretty nice, and there's another one down here. But the bit we're looking at today, unfortunately, in this part, hasn't been updated. So this is old data here with very little detail and information. Okay, but if you look at this image, there's a different story going on here altogether. This is much more detailed and close up. And what we have here is what I think is a harbour. And we have here, if you look in this area, I'll go back a bit and show you with the magnifier because it's easier for me to point things out. We have here a sort of squarish area here with these weird gold shaped things on the, well, I say on the ground. I'm not sure if this is actual ground, a lot of this stuff. In other words, what I think we're looking at here is a sort of peninsula area, and it's got what looks like a wall here. There's like a land bridge there, and the wall goes all the way around what seems to be a very flat area here, which looks a bit like concrete or something. This is what I think is a harbour. Why do I think that? A, because we have a land bridge here, which is straight, and B, because we have another one here, which is also straight, just here, which joins to this little kind of island, oddly shaped island here, right? And then just up here, we have what looks like a dock area here. We've got a structure here. We've got a rectangular structure here. We've got what look like structures here, ruins, and then we have what looks like a dock area here with a wall here in front of it, right? Now, what I think we're looking at basically is like an old port or dock area and a harbour with smaller harbours joined and nearby as well. And we have a sea wall that goes right round here, right up here, right up here, and right along here, and then right round here. What we've got here, this blue area, is where I think the water used to be. And then we have a coastline here with an island and a harbour here. And we've got these rather strange gold, I'm calling them objects, but they're obviously kind of deposits of some sort, right? Very bright yellowy gold colour. I'm not sure it is gold because, in fact, if it was gold, it probably wouldn't be yellow. It'd be more of an orangey yellow rather than bright yellow like this. So we've got another one here, and another one here, and over here, and there's another one, a nice one right down here, which is kind of boat-shaped almost. With this, we have the raw image on the right here, and my enhanced image on the left. So you can see that they're not that different. I've just darkened this one up a bit to make these things stand out a bit for you. And here we have what looks like another dock area here with this kind of broken up island area, right? And this is to scale. This isn't huge. And we have a square thing here, which looks like some kind of compound or dock, another dock area, right? Let's switch that off. And you can see it there. Now, it's not that easy to see. Let me zoom in. We've got a square just here. And that goes into the ground. I'll show you some clips of that in a second and flip it round for you, because it's actually easier to see some of this stuff if you turn it round the other way. It doesn't necessarily take images looking straight down. It takes them at an angle. So you can see slightly across things as well as down onto them. The phase angle, it's called. And then we have this, which seems to be a double kind of hollow structure here, which is collapsed in here, which may be an actual building or set of buildings. And then we have this up here. Now, I've marked this thing here because this looks like a pistol. Now, I'm not saying it is a pistol. It's just shaped like one. And what we may have is a collapsed structure which is partly buried in sand, which has partly drifted up one side of it here, which makes it kind of look a bit like a handle, which is absolutely insane. I don't think this is a gun at all. I'm just saying it's shaped like one. What I think this is an actual structure, because we have a very straight part sticking out just above it here. And we've got a sort of rectangular shape to the whole thing here in the ground. And it's all kind of buried. And this would have all been water here. We have what seems to be a structure here sticking out. There's loads of these sort of what look like ruins in this area. We've got these gold things here, these gold structures in a sort of pattern. Just here we have what seems to be some kind of wall or dam, like a barrier going across with a sort of area behind it, like a dock, almost like a dry dock. Very strange, right? And in the ground, if you look carefully, there's loads of weird holes in the ground, which are squarish, and some are triangular. And here in the ground, we have shapes in the ground which look like they were structures before, which are now collapsed and filled in and partly drifted over with sand, right? Let me get rid of that and I'll show you here. You can actually see there's a triangular one here, quite prominent. There's another triangular one there, and then there's a sort of coffin-shaped one here. And there seem to be internal structures inside this thing here, which you can just about make out at the top here. What you have to bear in mind is this stuff is probably very, very ancient, and it's filled in with sand. So it's backfilled in, and a lot of this stuff would have been much more prominent before that happened. So you've got to look for a kind of symmetrical and geometric shapes in the ground, like we have here, triangles and other shapes. And you've got to imagine them without all the sand that's filled them in. Now this is a clip of what I'm calling the main dock area or harbour, where we have the land bridge on the left and another land bridge here in the middle, roughly. And then we have that thing that looks like a gun just here. If I zoom in, you can actually see that quite well. Absolutely mental. But like I said, I actually think this is a buried structure and something's kind of drifted up against it here partially. So it's just very, very strange. And what is really odd about this whole area is if you start looking in the ground, you keep seeing these sort of dark rectangles like we have here. These are ruins, I think. Right? There's another one here. They're all over the place when you start looking around. Then we have these hollow structures like we have here, in the middle here. Was that a structure? Is that another dry dock or something? There seems to be like a little entrance here, just here, like a little channel, and then a dock area. So who knows? A lot of this looks natural, but the point is, when you build a harbour, you find a natural harbour and then build on it and then modify it. That's what we've always done on Earth, and I'm sure they probably did the same on Mars as well. And you can really see that gun-shaped thing up here in the top left. That structure. You can actually see what may have been a wall here as well. See, so that's an actual structure, and we've got interesting details on this thing. Here's a close-up of that. So you can see that this looks like some kind of wall or something sticking out the top, just here. And then there seems to be some kind of buried wall here as well at the bottom, going along here. And then it comes along here like this. So we got kind of multiple rectangular things in the ground. This is that one right at the bottom of the image, which has a square shape to it. And it doesn't quite work visually until you turn it up the other way. You can see we have a rectangular structure in the ground and it goes down deep into the ground. So a lot of this stuff is buried in sand, right? Let's turn that round again. This is up the other way. You can actually see that there's a wall here that goes down into a depression. And we have these dunes that come across. So there may be a wall here and a wall here as well. And that kind of stood out at me straight away. We got a deep, deep blue sand, which is where the water would have been, I think. With all this sand kind of drifting across, which is kind of a lighter browny kind of colour, most of it. But then we have these large gold deposits here, one here, one here, one here, and then down here and up here, which are very strange. I mean, what is going on here? And this one kind of joins, like it has a wall behind it or something. So I don't know what that actually represents. It's very strange indeed. But what I found really odd is this thing here, this actual island part. Very strange indeed. It seems to have an arm and it's anthropomorphic. In other words, it's shaped like a person, right? We have an arm here and a body here, a neck here and a head. Now, I'm not saying that's what this is. This may just be a pure kind of coincidence here, but we have like an eye here, a mouth, a nose, head coming round with an ear there, a long neck, back, arm coming down here. So now I think that's probably just a coincidence. And in fact, if you look at these images and flip them up the other way, it looks like something completely different. So it really depends on which way round you look at it. The thing that caught my eye initially with this was the straight kind of land bridge here between this part, and then another one at right angles. So we have a right angle just here, which I think is artificial, at least partly. And then we have what looks like a dock with a wall here. If any of you live near the coast, you'll recognise what I'm showing you here, because this also looks very much like parts of Cornwall or something like that, where you have large natural kind of port areas with docks kind of built in and modified areas as well. Very similar to what you might see at Falmouth or somewhere like that, like a peninsula sticking out with a wall going along the front here. So I mean, this is insane. Some of these may be natural, absolutely, but some of it looks very artificial, especially here, where we have this land bridge here and here, and then we have the very strange pistol structure just here. Okay, so thanks for watching, everybody. I'll put some more clips of this stuff in and play around with it, see if I can drag more detail out of some of this stuff for you. So, like I said, check the links out below. Come and have a look yourself. You will probably find loads of weird things in here that I haven't even shown you yet. It's littered with strange things, this area. And it really does look like an alien harbour or Martian harbour. And there may have been small boats here as well at some point, which are now probably just buried under all this sand somewhere, okay? And you might even be able to spot one or two in here if you look hard enough. You might actually be able to spot some buried boats, who knows? But there's weird stuff going on here, and then we got kind of seawall kind of structures and everything. So thanks for watching, everybody. Clips coming up now.